Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. All of you are really, really important in helping us get the message out. We've got 2 days of pretty warm temperatures coming. We both know that today and tomorrow we're expected to hit 100 degrees or maybe even a little bit higher. And when this happens and when the county sees pretty significant risk to our community, one of the things that we do is we open up cooling centers, but we also get together with all of our partners to see what we could do to sort of support the community during this really, really extreme event. And so we've made a few decisions for the next 2 days to help the community to make sure that they could also stay cool throughout this event. One, the county decided to open cooling shelters, and we will open cooling shelters from noon to 9 p.m. today and tomorrow. Both Cook Plaza is open out on Stark at 160th Street, as well as Portland Covenant Church at 4046 Northeast MLK. We also have some partners that we're working with. Bud Clark Commons will also accept people today. That's in the downtown area at 650 Northwest. As well as we've extended hours in some of our libraries. We want to ensure that we extended hours in Central Library, which will be open till 8 p.m. both today and tomorrow. So if people need to stay cool, we want to make sure that they've got a place to go. Certainly this event happening and reaching these really high temperatures during the week, we know there's a lot of options out there, and so we want to make sure the community stays safe and take use of some of those options. Find air conditioning, maybe not be out there during the hottest part of the day. Make sure you drink plenty of fluids. And if there's information that people need on how they can stay cool, one of the best things you could do is go to our county website, the Help for When It's Hot, and get all the information you need. If you do go to that website, you'll also find a lot of other resources out there, not just some of the ones that I've named, but we coordinate with a lot of our partners, including the City of Portland. There are splash pads and misting stations and other locations that people can certainly go to sort of stay cool. We also work with TriMet, and if people are headed to one of those cooling centers and they cannot afford a fare, we want to let them know that they could actually ride or head to one of those locations for free. They do not have to pay the fare if they do not actually have the ability to sort of pay that fare. Also, we very much want to make sure that people are checking on their neighbors. You know, one of the most valuable things that people could do is if you've got family or friends or neighbors that you know don't have AC during this event. Yesterday was pretty warm, and like I said, today is supposed to be, over 100 degrees as well as tomorrow. So this becomes a longer event, and obviously that's even more of a concern for some of the people that we know that are home, sometimes that are live alone or at higher risk. So please check on those family and friends, especially if we know that they're certainly higher risk folks. We also think about what you're doing during the day, and so at the hottest part of the day, try to avoid sort of the outside areas and outside activities, and that certainly help as well. And then, like I said, the last thing we want to do is, like I said, just make sure that people remain safe, utilize the resources that we have out there for them, or any resources to stay cool. And if you do need more information, please reach out, go to our website, or call 211. That might also help you provide information or assist you and let you know what other locations are open and where you can go. So my name again, Chris Voss. I'm the Director of Emergency Management here from Multnomah County. And next up, I want to hand you off to Dr. Bruno with the Health Department.
Thanks so much, Chris. Good morning, everybody. I'm Richard Bruno, Health Officer for Multnomah County Health Department. And like Chris said, we are really focused on trying to keep people safe and cool over the next few days. It's going to be dangerously high temperatures and dangerously high ozone layer in the area. So a combination can be actually more dangerous for people, especially those with respiratory diseases or other chronic diseases. So we want to encourage people to not only stay out of the heat, but stay out of the high levels of ozone, and also try to avoid polluting either gas or diesel vehicles, gas or diesel lawn equipment. Try to avoid mowing the lawn today or tomorrow. Also want to try to ensure that people can avoid painting. Painting can sometimes exacerbate underlying conditions as well. So hold off on some of those kind of daily activities in order to stay safe. We look back over the last 10 years of heat-related deaths in our county. 99% of those happened in the last 3 years. And when we look at the data, 2 out of every 3 people who died of a heat-related illness in our county were men over the age of 50 who lived alone. So a lot of those folks who live alone, we really want to just make sure, as Chris said, to check in on your neighbors. We want to make sure that people are checking in on those folks who maybe live down the hall or down the street. Folks you may not see that often, maybe you know that they live alone. Just knocking on that door, making a phone call, just checking in, bringing over some cold water, make sure they have their AC on or the fan on or have the ability to go to a cooling shelter. And we can get people transported over to those cooling shelters for free today on TriMet as well. So please keep these in mind as we're entering these dangerously high heat and high ozone today. Also want to make sure you keep an eye out for people who are living or working outside. Those folks are going to be especially vulnerable to high temperatures. Making sure that we have available breaks for those folks who are working outside. Take a shade break. Keep an eye out for people who may start to have heat-related illness, such as heat exhaustion or heat stroke. These can be very dangerous situations for people who are enduring long, lengthy exposure to the sun and to the heat today. So please keep an eye out for when somebody starts to act confused, maybe starts to lose consciousness. Those folks may be undergoing a heat stroke, and those would be 911 emergency level situations at that time. So please keep an eye on your neighbors, check on people. And like Chris said, we have available information on our website, multco.us/hot. And that can give you information about where the cooling shelters are, where the different splash pads, and opportunities for extended hours at our libraries. We'll have medical attention at the cooling shelters today and tomorrow. We've worked with our partner Central City Concern, who'll be providing a medical van on site this afternoon from 1 to 5 at the Cook Plaza, and tomorrow afternoon at the Portland Covenant Church from 1 to 5 p.m. So we want to thank our partners for providing medical attention. We'll also have Medical Reserve Corps volunteers at those locations later tonight from 6 to 9 p.m. as well. And thank you so much. And I'll pass it on to Anna Plum.
Good morning. My name is Anna Plum. I'm the Deputy Director for the Joint Office of Homeless Services. I wanted to let you know that the Joint Office has activated its severe weather enhanced supply and outreach activities. Our outreach workers are out in the community right now. They have been out since yesterday morning, providing cooling supplies and water to folks experiencing homelessness. They are also handing out information about the cooling centers and how to access them. We do intentional coordinated outreach during severe weather. What we do is we break the county into 37 zones, and we ensure that our outreach workers are accessing all of those zones and getting supplies to every zone so the whole county is covered. The supplies that we hand out include water bottles, cooling towels, sunscreen, and electrolyte packets. That work started yesterday morning and will continue through Friday. Thanks.
We can now take questions. If you can say your name and your outlet for your question, that'd be great.
I know for at least what has to be seen is that these nighttime temperatures are going to cool down. But my question is, we've heard even here today that extended heat, like we're seeing potentially days, multiple days in a row, can be very dangerous. Why not open the shelters overnight?
Yeah, so, and we work really closely in sort of evaluating this risk. And there's actually a couple things that are favorable to us at sort of at the end of the season. One, we've got the sun setting at about 7:40 p.m., so we're already seeing temperatures dip sort of below 90 by those times. But we actually, it's not like we close the locations at 7:40. We give ourselves a little more time, and that's why you're seeing us sort of keep them open till 9 p.m. But with temperatures really in the 60s, the risk really starts to diminish. And so for us, I think one of the important things that we also want to remember is we want to be there for the highest risk times. And that also sometimes means that we can't also just be there all the time every day. And so for us right now, we know that those highest risk times are the hottest part of the day. And that's why we're keeping those shelters, those locations open till 9 p.m.
John Adams, KTW. We've had this a few times this year where we've had this press conference on extreme heat events. You all have a number of how many folks we've lost here in the area to heat-related illnesses thus far this year.
Thanks, John. Yeah, unfortunately, we had 7 suspected heat-related deaths back in July when we had that other heat wave. We're still in the process of confirming those, but like I said, over the last 10 years, we've had about 86 people succumb to heat-related illness. 85 of those were in the last 3 years. And we know from looking at those and those confirmed deaths that folks that are at highest risk are those who are older and male and living alone. So those are the folks we're really trying to do outreach to everybody that we can, anybody who's at increased risk, but we especially want to make sure that we're trying to keep an eye on neighbors that fit that demographic.
Just a quick follow-up. I mean, we had extreme heat events, starting in May this year, and now we're all the way into September, and we've had some in that time in between. I mean, what's the level of concern now that it seems like this extreme heat is kind of, the season for it has kind of stretched a little bit over the last few years?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, global warming is real. We know that patterns of weather have been changing significantly. We've started to see the Aedes aegypti mosquito in southern Oregon for the first time as they've sort of been migrating up from California. So we know that temperatures are rising in our area. We want to make sure we're doing the best we can to prevent any heat-related illness and keep people safe and cool.
I wonder if you get about OPD. Those holding centers are built to capacity well. Like, what are the capacities?
Yeah, do you have those numbers?
You know what? I don't have every capacity, but I do want to say this. You'll often find that we're in situations like we see during the winter where we try not to turn anybody away. And so we've been pretty successful at this. Is if we need to or we feel we need to open up even more locations because we're getting or seeing really significant volumes, we'll do just that. I know the Cook Plaza is around, I think, 150 or so capacity total. I don't have the Portland Covenant Church off the top of my head. But I think the important thing to know is if we need more spaces or we have to find more spaces, we'll do just that.
Yes.
You mentioned obviously looking out for those who are at risk of heat illness. I know you've done this before for us, but our viewers often need a bit of a reminder. What things should people really be out on the lookout for? When should we call 911 or get emergency response?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we talk about heat-related illness, especially heat exhaustion or heat stroke, heat exhaustion is really when people start to sweat profusely, need to cool down. Maybe they're starting to feel lightheaded. Maybe they're starting to feel dizzy. Heart is racing. These are signs that somebody needs to take a break from the sun, get into the shade, get some cool water, and take a break. Heat stroke is like a more severe pathway where people actually start to maybe lose consciousness, maybe have a seizure. Oftentimes they stop sweating and their skin feels very red or hot. These are dangerous signs of heat, and we want to call 911 right away. Thank you.
But one more thing I wanted to add is, and it has very much to do with the fact that I think that we are seeing warmer and hotter summers. It seems like more often now than we had in the past. After the heat dome, one of the programs that the county, the city, and the state worked on is really trying to address the need amongst some of those higher risk folks that are living at home and provide air conditioners to the people that are most in need if they met certain economic issues. And so it will not help you during this event because they don't quite work that fast. But if people are in a situation where they need air conditioning and do not have the resources for those air conditioners, calling 211 will put you on a list where they are sort of prioritizing and addressing and looking to see who they could provide air conditioners. And I know that we've provided thousands of air conditioners to homebound seniors and other people in high risk over the last few years. And that's one of the key groups we're really trying to hit. Those programs will continue. And what's nice about it is, we want it not to be an issue. We want to get to you and address this issue. And we think a lot of folks should before you have to call 211 or 911. And so that's one of the ways to do it. It's really great to see that program expand. And I think that we're going to continue to see it run as we see warmer and warmer temperatures here during the summer.